Everything in this video was located on a public domain. Welcome to the Danger Zone. It's Ashley. Lots of love and many blessings your way. All of this is such a setup in my opinion. Let me share with you guys what was shared with me. Okay, so remember in the beginning they said Jessica Maroney, while Megan was working on Suits in Canada, introduced Megan to Markus Anderson at the SOHO house. They became really quick, fast best friends. In the event that you didn't know this, Markus Anderson is actually on the royal payroll. He is her advisor. If we're supposed to believe what they're telling us, okay, we're supposed to believe that Megan sat down with a pen and paper and she pleaded her case to the editor-in-chief, Edward ENNINFUL. He's the British Vogue editor. Okay, so she asked him, hey, look, is there any way possible that I could actually pull off the September issue and be a guest editor? I have huge ideas. She went on to say that her son, by September, would be 3 months old. Keep that in mind. Now, that's what she told this man. But, you know, that's her math, not ours. We know he arrived, if we're to believe them, May 6th. That would put him a little bit older in September. That's not important right now. Okay, getting back to the point. Edward ENNINFUL is actually Markus Anderson's ex-boyfriend. They had all of this up their sleeve. You remember how her sister wrote to the royal family and her brother saying, hey, she's a total social climber. If you marry her and bring her into your family, it has potential dangers. You know, we're just warning you. And even though the royal advisors, not Markus Anderson, real royal advisors, have tried to tell Megan, you don't dabble in stuff outside, you know, of our endeavors because it is dangerous for all of us. You know, we ask you not to do it and she continues to do it anyway. Even though they warned her, she knows, you know, better than anybody. So she's doing her own thing. This is causing such an uproar right now. Everybody's really upset over it. It gets worse. Here's just a small example of what the majority of the population are leaving behind in reply to Meghan and Harry's latest humanitarian moves. People are absolutely disgusted with both of them. According to my source, Meghan was supposed to, of course, bring in several $1 million with this Vogue edition, and the point of it was some sort of charitable notion. She was going to pass it around, put it into her foundation, you know, work certain avenues of charity, because after all, she's a philanthropist and a humanitarian. And to find out, you guys, not one penny from Vogue and not one penny from her end is going to any charity, and everybody's upset about this. Everybody is saying they would have felt different about this had she done this with a purpose in mind. And so the only thing that's reaping a benefit is Vogue, her designer friends, the 15 women that she called out, and of course herself. And speaking of her humanitarian side, let's talk really fast about the shawl that she wrapped Archie in. They say she paid $70 around there for this shawl. She liked the fact that it was made from organic materials. People are so angry with her right now, saying they felt like maybe it would be in her best interest to start researching companies that she invests in, no matter how big or small, before she just swipes her credit card. You never know when you're going to purchase a baby blanket from a dirty sweatshop in India, where the blanket was made. It was really pitiful because one of the workers spoke out, and she was shocked to find out that Megan paid for this blanket nearly what she makes in 2 weeks. She went on to say how hard it was to make her ends meet at her house for her family, and she works 48 hours per week in this overheated factory for 37 cents an hour. She was shocked to find out Megan was calling herself a humanitarian. She felt disappointed that Megan hadn't taken the time to at least research, you know, to see the origin of the product before she just decided it was cute and she purchased it. And this woman is totally right. Somebody that declares themselves a major international, philanthropist, humanitarian, needs to research down to the tittle, you know what I'm saying, where your products are coming from, because after all, you just might be buying a baby blanket from a sweatshop factory in India where people have no other options for work and only bring home 37 cents an hour, Megan. People have even started a campaign wanting the name Sussex to be removed from Meghan and Harry. The residents feel that it's a major insult. And did you know on their wedding day, the Queen had gifted them the titles Earl and Countess of a little place called Dumbarton. It's a small little quaint town, very beautiful, but it's having major economic hardships. And the people of Dumbarton were so excited to know that Harry and Meghan were now Earl and Countess of their area. So they invited the new Earl and Countess of Dumbarton to come and stay in the Dumbarton Castle, along with an entire itinerary, so they didn't even have to think for themselves. It would have been a huge plus for their economy. And after I did a little bit of research, I found out the reason they declined the invite was because they were hanging out with the Obamas for that weekend. A total disrespect and slap in the face for everybody that lives in Dumbarton. Harry's turned Hollywood. He's forgotten what his role is in the royal family. And I absolutely have to say, I agree 100% with Lady Colin Campbell. They are vulgar, cheap, and irresponsible. Now, getting back to the Soho house, and how every bit of this goes back to the Soho house, let's talk about the girl in the brown dress. One of Harry's really good partying pals from his childhood, her name is Violet von Westenholz. She's actually rumored to be one of the ones that connected Harry and Meghan through the Soho house, through Marcus and Jessica. She just had a baby girl. She named it Lyra. Sounds like LYRA to me. This girl is the PR director for Ralph Lauren. This totally blows my mind. What are the odds of this? That the father of her child just so happens to be Archie Seymouр. He actually is a restaurant manager at one of the Soho houses. Everybody's talking about once Meghan found out this girl was, who she was to Harry, she would not let this girl rest until she ended up, hey, look, you really need to hook me up with Harry. And that's how, she brought Harry to Marcus and Marcus brought Meghan to Harry. In my opinion, she looks exactly like the girl in the brown dress, standing against the wall with their own security. This info is fresh and brand new to me. If you'll give me just a second, let me dig around. I'm going to try to piece together how this all makes sense. She's definitely a player in the game. It all goes back to the Soho house. Oh, I wanted to tell you guys also that my journalist friend told me that Prince Harry and Prince Charles had it out over the fact that Meghan deliberately excluded the Queen from one of her 15 inspirational forces of change women. There is so much going on behind the scenes right now. I can't keep up with everything. But it was an absolute deliberate diss against the Queen. Charles and William are extremely upset over the disrespect that Meghan has shown the Queen and Harry has shown the family by backing Meghan. William doesn't understand why Harry is spineless. He's a jellyfish around Meghan. William asked Harry to have a sit down with him, and instead he gave him an excuse and a blow-off. And as it was told to me, Harry didn't even personally contact William. And through true Hollywood fashion, Harry had his people contact William and let him know he wasn't sure what the future looked like for that meeting, because after all, he had a climate change camp to go to that Google hosts every year. Like good old Pierce said, he'll probably be flying there on a friend's private jet. He ain't worried about climate change. Super duper important. I want to say a thank you to everybody who contributes to my channel. My journalist friends, Sweet K, G, Trish, Amanda, thank you. Steph, M, I appreciate you so much. Everybody who wants to remain anonymous, I thank you so much. You guys stay tuned for what's next. I'll see you soon and we'll talk fast. Stay safe and be blessed.